everyone and welcome to this horse eye tutorial. So I'm just about to start this beautiful chestnut horse commission and I thought I would film myself drawing the eye and do an up-to-date video on how I go about drawing horse eyes, as my last one was from a couple of years ago and my drawings have improved since then, and I thought it'd be nice to give you a little update on how I draw them. So to start with, of course, I've got my line art already drawn out. And what I do first is I study my photo and I'm picking out all the colours that I think I'm going to need. So I've picked out my browns for the eye, I've got all my greys for around the eye, and then I've got some blues because there is a lot of blue in the pupil there, and then some oranges for the hair around him as well. So first off, I'm going to take my dark sepia pencil and I'm just going to outline all of the darkest areas in the eye, and then I'll go over with my black as well. So I use the dark sepia first because it's a little bit lighter just to outline it, and then I'll go in nice and dark with my black to get the really dark shadows in the eye, and that sort of gives me like the foundations of the eye to work around then. Before I do that, I'm just going to lightly erase my pencil lines. So I'm just using a clean putty rubber and just dabbing off the pencil so you can only just see it, because we don't want the pencil lines showing through our finished piece. So here we go. So taking a very sharp dark sepia pencil now, and I'm just going to outline these darkest areas here. So it's almost like doing an outline of the eye, and this is the only time I will start with the darkest areas. Majority of the time in portraits I start with the lightest colours first, but when drawing eyes I like to just map out all the dark tones first. So I'm doing it very lightly with my dark sepia pencil, and then I'll go in and darken it after. And pay close attention to the shape of the eye as well. They're never perfectly round, especially horse eyes. And it always depends on the positioning of the eye and the emotion that the horse has at that point, on the shape of the eye as well. So I got the outer areas mapped in. Now I'm just going to do the inside areas. So I'm sort of outlining those little highlights as well to make sure I get them in. And I'm just going to darken my lines. And now as I'm darkening a little, I'm also thickening the lines where I can see they need to be a touch thicker. And look at the shape as well. There you go, and now I'm going to go in with my black pencil just to really darken those bits up. Just going to start at the bottom here, and I'm sort of just going to flick that warm grey into that light area so it blends, and bring it down a little. And I think I'm also going to use a cold grey because it is a sort of a colder tone as well. So I'm going to use this Cool Grey pencil. This is a Holbein pencil, but it is the same as the Cool Grey 102. So I'm just going to put that in and sort of just blend it out into that lighter area there. I'm going to go in with a darker Cold Grey. And go in with a Cold Grey 5, and there is that little line of reflection going up there, so I'm just going to get that in. And then shade upwards. And I'm just going to go around that little highlight there. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to work on the brown sections. I want to get a lighter tone under there first. I can almost see sort of yellowish colours, so I think I'm going to go in with the Ivory pencil. So this is the Polychromos Ivory, and I'm also going to use this for that little line around the edge there as well. So I'm just going to erase some of my pencil lines there. I'm going to put the ivory around the edge there, and then also blend it into the pupil. So we're going to work on the bottom of the eye first, and then we'll move our way up to the top section then. So now I've got this ivory down, we need to add in some of those brown tones. Now I think the Van Dyke brown is going to be a nice brown to put in there. So we're going to leave that little line around the outer edge. So I'm just going to lightly section off that area. And then lightly shade in, and then I'll build up my tones gradually rather than going in really hard first. So just shade in lightly, and then be mindful of any other little highlights and sort of leaving them out as well. Just one layer, and I'm going to go in with a harder pressure and start darkening. And when working on eyes, we want it to be quite dark from the waterline here, and then as it's going up, it's getting a bit lighter. So these are the shadow parts, apart from obviously the highlight here. So as we're getting closer to the pupil, it's a little lighter, so we do lighter pressure. Okay, now I'm going to work on the top, and I'm going to go in with the ivory again, only on this half by here, because around here it looks a bit darker, so I don't want to lighten it with any more ivory. So I'm just going to do that section, and I'm going to go straight in with the Van Dyke this time. Focus on the dark areas. I'm going to go along this line, quite hard pressure, and then as I'm coming out, I'm lightening my pressure. And I've only added a very light layer of Van Dyke on this section, and I'm going to blend it out using the Cold Grey, just to lighten it a touch. And then go back in with the Van Dyke. I'm just going to darken that line there. Now I think I need to make this little highlight here a little bit thicker, so I'm going to go in with my mono eraser. I'm going to put the dark indigo where I can see all that lighter blue. And then blend that a little bit more with the cold grey again. Just getting nice and soft and smooth. And then I'm going to go in with the black for that really dark black area there underneath those highlights. You want to sort of get a lot of contrast when you're working on eyes and anything that's shiny and reflective. Okay, so now I've got the pupil in there. I know I need to go a little darker on the brown areas, and I think I'm going to use a Caput Mortuum, which is like sort of like a burgundy colour. Now I'm just going to blend this highlight down with the cold grey. There's a touch light up there. And then blend in the ivory, so I'm sort of softening everything now, making sure everything's blended together nicely. Go, and now I'm going to work on the outer area. Once I've filled in this little section here, so I'm going to go in with my cold grey first and add a little Van Dyke. And go over with my black pencil to get that outline back in. Just need to thicken this outer area. I'm just going to darken a few little parts. It's all about looking back and forth your reference, make sure everything sort of matches up. I'm just going to darken the brown again a touch. And there we go, that is the eye sort of done there, and now we're going to work on the outer areas, and then I may go back into the centre of the eye again just to touch up anything I think needs extra touching up. So now we've got lots of greys going around. I'm going to go in with the lighter colours first as always, so we're going to work on this little section here, and I'm going to go in with my cold grey again. So I'm just going to erase my pencil lines. And then add in this cold grey. So I'm working from my lighter layers, my lightest colours, and then I'm layering up to my darkest colours. And I'm going to do the cold grey 5. I'm just going to blend that outer line into this area. And we always have lots of creases, so you want to try and focus on the texture of the outer eye as well. I'm just going to blend those areas. Go, and now we need to go into sort of warmer tones on this side. So I'm going to go in with my ivory first, just to get a bit of a yellowy base. I'm going to raise my lines again. But I'm also going to leave out a small section here for the eyelash that I can see in the reference. Just need to erase the pencil lines for it. Now I'm going to go in with the Warm Grey 2 first. So now we want to get those nice orange tones in. Now I love using the burnt ochre for chestnut orangey colours. So I'm going to go in with my very small burnt ochre. I'm just going to start from the lash line there and shade it in. And blend it into that grey as well, where it sort of fades into the grey of the skin. I'm also going to follow it down here as well. And now it needs to be sort of a darker orange, and I'm going to go in, I think it's the Sanguine colour. I'm just going to add this in as well to darken up this area. And I think we're going with some browns as well. I'm going to use the burnt sienna. I love mixing the burnt sienna in with oranges. It gives it a really rich tone. Just going to use some of that. Blend it out again. And then add in a little bit of walnut brown just to darken it further. And blend that up again. There you go. Now I'm going to darken the greys in the eye. And for that I'm going to go in with a Warm Grey 6. Just get in some of those darker tones now. I'm going to work on the under eye, and I'm just going to sort of map where parts are going. I'm just going to blend out this lower lash line as well. Then use a lighter grey. I'm just going back and forth on my greys at the moment, getting all the different tones in. I'm focusing on the texture as well. Like I say, around the eye there's lots of different folds and wrinkles. And it's always nice to get those tiny little details in. And I could do it all the So I'm going to go in with a dark sepia now to get the really dark tones in and sort of bring it all together. Okay, so now I'm going to work on this section of the eye where there's more sort of yellowy and orange tones. So I'm going with my ivory pencil and I'm just going to follow this up here. And down under the eye as well. And then in with my burnt ochre again. And I'm just going to blend all these areas together. I'm not going to go too hard with this burnt ochre though, I just want a touch of orange. And then I think we need some more like nugget tones down there as well. I'm going to find my nugget pencil and add in some brown tones. So I'm looking at all the shadows and the darker areas again. I want to get a little bit of sanguine in there, just for a brighter orange. I think I need to bring this grey over a little more, so I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to use my warm grey and just lightly blend some more grey down here. I'm just going to go in and add a little more texture. So I'm forever going back and forth and darkening rather than going really dark too soon and not being able to lighten it. It's always much easier to keep darkening as you go. Yeah, and now we're going to work around this section of the eye. So as you can see, when working on eyes, I sort of work from the inside and then sort of go around outwards then. And go back in with my ivory. Just remove some pencil lines. And just shade the outer area there. Now add in more burnt ochre, but I'm going to do this very lightly because it's not too orange. Then in with my nugget. And I'm just focusing on all the shapes and shadows that I can see around the eye. Now I'm going to go in with my greys for the grey area up here. Just needs to blend out a little now. Just going to bring this section down a touch. I think it needs to be a little thicker down here. And a nice sepia for those dark little wrinkles there that I can see. Okay, now I'm going to work on this section up here, and I'm going to go straight in with the terracotta, oh, the sanguine, sorry. I'm just going to shade up here. And then use a walnut brown just over the top for that shadowed top of the eyelid. And there's a deep crease there, so I'm going to shade that in quite dark. And then it comes up with that sort of line of expression that horses have. Blend it out softly. Go back in. I would say it's really important to get the expression of the horse in when drawing horse eyes. And it all comes with sort of like the wrinkles around the eyes show a lot of expression. Just going to add a touch of pink tone there. I'm also going to add this pink down here. I just need to erase some of those pencil lines. I always find there's a lot of pink tones in chestnut horses as well. Just erasing more pencil lines that are a little more tricky to get. There we go. I'm going to go in with the warm grey again. Just going to darken everything up a touch. Okay, now I want to get his eyelashes in. So I'm going to use a slice tool for that. My favourite slice tool currently is this craft knife. I'm just going to use that to add in his eyelashes. So I'm just going to go over the top of there and just take off that little bit of pigment. There you go, and I'm also going to use this craft knife to just add in the highlights a little more prominent than what we can see at the moment. I'm going to add in a few down here as well, just to highlight those little textures down here. And I'm just going to soften them with my coal grey. I'm just going to enhance the eyelashes a little by drawing a little shadow under there with my burnt ochre, and then fan them out. There we go. Just going to add a little bit of burnt ochre into that grey, so sort of shaded and blended, and shade out this grey section as well. I think I need to darken down here a touch. Then I'm going to use some of this burnt sienna down here in the shadow just to give a little more rich tone to the chestnut fur. And blending out the grey a little more. Now I'm just going to go in once more and darken up the inside of the eye, and then I think that is the eye finished. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial. So I thought it'd be nice to show you whilst I'm working on a commission, because I have to get the commission drawn anyway, so it's nice to pop my camera on and just talk you through what I do. So let me know in the comments what you think. If there's any other tutorials that you would like to see me do as I'm working on commissions, let me know and I'll make sure to pop my camera on and talk you through what I'm doing. There should be lots more videos like these coming very soon, as my camera is now set up on my desk, so it's easy access for me to just quickly pop on and film anything that anyone is requesting. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe as it helps my channel. Give my video a like and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!